Thanks for clicking on another episode of My Backyard Friends. This episode is about my first year as a Purple Martin landlord. I've been thinking about being a Purple Martin landlord for a couple of years and finally decided to pull the trigger this last year. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering even what a Purple Martin is. A Purple Martin is a species of bird that solely or pretty much solely depends on humans for providing it shelter or housing for nesting. Being a landlord is an important thing for this species to stay alive, and there's actually a pretty big community online of Purple Martin people, or there's many mentors that you can find and learn about the tricks of the trade, I guess you'd say. So this last year, I decided to pull the trigger and looked at a couple different gourd rack systems, and the best one that I came across with the best reviews was the Troyer Gourd Racks. And so with our heavy winds here in Iowa, I wanted to make sure that I got something sturdy. So I went with the 3-inch square tube pole, and then it was also 16 foot tall. The K12 unit holds 12 gourds, and so I broke up and got 6 of each of one of the horizontal and the vertical gourds. So not knowing what they would like, and I just wanted to try both, so I just split it up evenly. What I like about the Troyer gourds is that they come with the starling resistant entries, so that was really nice knowing that we have starlings in our area that we might have to deal with. That would be a big help. So I got that for the entrance for both kinds of gourds, and bit the bullet and ordered, and before long it was time to put the stake in the ground. The birds come in the spring, so the fall before we did cement in the stake and then put up the pole and just left it all winter. Here's a few pictures of the process.
There's no way I was going to do that myself.
Like a glove.
Perfect.
Early spring, we started brainstorming on ways to attach our cameras to the poles so that we could have a place to anchor them. So we need something to screw into. So we used this plastic particle board, I guess you'd probably call it, since it's waterproof, and it worked out perfectly to house our solar panel and then attach a camera at the top, because I wanted to be able to view from above both the gourds and the perches. Here's me testing it out for the first time, seeing what all I can see. I was pretty happy with everything that it could view. There's only a small portion on the opposite side of where the camera's placed that it can't see. So it was setting up to be a pretty fun year if we could attract some Purple Martins to stay. Big key, if. With the camera set up, gourds on, and just waiting for birds, while searching YouTube to see what other people have done and see what good ideas are, I found this guy named Mark Bond who has these pretty cool perches that are designed for the Troyer gourds that I thought were pretty cool and would be a good addition just to give the birds more room to perch above their gourd themselves. So I shot Mark an email that he had on one of his videos, and he was really awesome to work with, and talked for a little bit through via email, and he sent me the purchase that I need, and just a really great experience, and I loved using them, and you'll see in the videos, but the birds loved them, so I was able to put decoys on them as well, so they were very useful. If you're a martin lover, check out and see if these would make sense for you for gourds, and send Mark an email. It wasn't long, and all of a sudden the cameras were going off. And I was all excited until I checked the cameras and to see that it was just starlings. And thankfully I got the starling resistant gourd entrances that come with the Troyer gourds that are really nice, because they were unable to get in, and they were around probably 2 days trying to get in, and then I didn't have problems with them the rest of the year at all. A couple weeks later, finally had my first sign of a purple martin on the cameras, and then a couple minutes later found out that there was a couple scouts, that it wasn't just one. This made me so ecstatic. Some people wait years to just see martins at their pole, and so to know that some were finding it, I had a lot of hope for the season that we could probably convince some subadults at the very least to stay later once they've gotten this far north. Seeing random scouts every couple days happened for another couple weeks, and so it was just fun to see the birds, but it was kind of frustrating because you really just want them to stay and to start your colony, and you are just crossing your fingers like crazy. So it was just fun to see them, but at the end of the day, you're just praying that they stay, and I wasn't having success. It was really fun to get to know them and see what they look like and what they sound like too. They're really fun to listen to. In the meantime, while waiting for a couple to stay, I would go and get a fix out at my Purple Martin mentor, Mark Wilkinson's house. And I've got to say a big thank you to Mark. He's been patient and answered a lot of questions for us, and just been a great source of knowledge. And we just really appreciate learning so much from him and being able to see his setup. He has 2 poles with a string in between, and you can see from this picture, it's not very good. I wish I would have gotten a better one, but he's got plenty of martins there in between, and he's been doing it for years, so his colony has been built up over time, and he's just done it right. So it's fun to see it from a pro. So thanks again, Mark. As the days went on, adults and other scouts would come through, and even some pairs would come through and start checking out gourds, which was really fun and get exciting. But I got really excited when a pair started bringing in different not pine needles, because we already had pine needles in them, but in the gourds, but they started bringing in material of their own, so I was getting pretty excited, and they actually stayed overnight. And here you can see those perches from Mark Bond were such a good purchase. In addition, they really like to use them, but eventually these 2 just didn't stay. They must not have liked the digs or something, and they didn't stay, which was kind of disappointing. Before long, we had 2 pairs of subadults finally show up and take home in some gourds. Of course, one of the pairs is in a gourd that's not viewable by the camera, one of like 2 or 3 gourds that can't be seen. So we're just going to focus on these 2. I didn't get a camera set up in their gourd right away because I was scared that was the reason the others didn't want to stay. So I was just playing it safe and didn't put a camera in at first, and just let them do their thing and make sure that they laid some eggs or something like that before I made any changes. One of my 2 pair that I know stayed for sure. Oh, well, there they go, of course. Oh. They're interesting. Well, now they're all here. Fucking right. So I've got 2 pairs that I know stay for sure at night. So let's keep building up this colony. But they've been fun so far. After a nest check and making sure the eggs had hatched, I put in a camera, and boy, was it fun to see these parents work. All they do is catch food and feed their babies. It's a tough job, but it's pretty fun to watch. It's crazy how big of insects like dragonflies and stuff that they will bring back, and that these little birds can take down such a big meal when they're so tiny. Something I did notice throughout the season is that purple martins are pretty social birds, and that there would be multiple different birds that would show up every day almost later in the season, and would just hang out for a little bit and see what was all going on at our colony site. And I think they're just attracted to where other martins are. And we have feeding grounds, I guess you would say. They love to fly through our grass field and catch all kinds of dragonflies and butterflies and all kinds of insects, as you just saw them feeding their babies. So it's kind of fun just to see lots of, as you can see in this video, there's tons of purple martins. They're just hanging out. Over the next days, all these little birds do is eat, and they change so fast. Start getting little specks of just not being naked anymore, and then before you know it, they have full-on feathers. Then wings and feathers need stretched and made strong, and the gourds become a very crowded place very fast. Next thing I knew, they're outside the gourd and then flying a little bit to other gourds and exploring. You learn quick that there's a bigger world out there other than just inside that gourd. Mom and Dad are still working their butts off to feed these bigger birds once they're out of the gourds, but it's not long, and they're taking longer flights and feeding themselves, and they're getting ready to fly south. It happens all really, really quick. Purple martins really are amazing flyers. They're the acrobats of the sky. They can change direction and just glide. It's so fun to watch. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole experience, was watching them fly around. So overall, I have to chalk up year one to a total success. We were able to, one, attract some purple martins to come and nest not only one but two pairs of subadults to start our colony. Can't wait to see them back and hopefully just build the colony even more this year. It was fun. We were able to fledge a total of 7 birds out of the 2 subadult pairs, and so I'll call it a win. I guess I can say I'm doing my part by keeping this bird species alive, and I can't wait to see what next year brings. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.